Hello, my name's Vansh,
I'm Eric. My name is James.
and today we're welcoming Dr. Sam on the podcast. Thank you, Dr. Sam, for agreeing to be on the podcast, and Dr. Webb, who's sitting over there, for being in the part of the podcast as well and kind of sitting in. So today we're going to actually be talking about Dr. Sam's background and his background within ECC and Elgin Community College. And I guess we might as well start first with his background. So, Dr. Sam, where'd you grow up?
Well, thank you, first of all, for the invitation to be here. I have a slight cold, and I hope it doesn't interfere with everything. I was born and raised in Ghana, West Africa, and I went to school there till I was 17. I turned 18 when I first came here. I was a foreign exchange student in a high school, Eureka High School, Illinois. So I grew up mainly in Ghana, West Africa, but I had some of my teenage years in the United States.
Okay. So, what was it like growing up in Ghana compared to the United States?
Well, it was different. I went to a prep school. So I spent 5 years in this boarding school environment compared to when I spent a year in a high school here. I lived with an American family for a year, and then I had to go back as part of my scholarship requirement. But it was fun. I had a very supportive family environment. I stayed with several relatives, and I got to learn a lot of good things.
So, I know in your office and in any email you send, besides your name, there's a bunch of different abbreviations for degrees. How many degrees do you hold at this moment?
Well, I have 6 degrees,
That's really impressive.
Six?
6 different degrees. Well, and let me give you the background to the degrees. As an immigrant, when I came here, I wanted to be successful. Okay, I wanted to be a professional basketball player, and I know that you know me. There's no way I could play basketball, barely 5'5", and so it wasn't going to happen. So I had to find something that I knew I was good at, that I could enjoy, that could help me move up in society. And I know that that is education. Education, I believe, is the surest way for social mobility. So I wanted to go to school, learn a lot of things, and be successful. I wanted to be like Michael Jordan. I couldn't get 6 trophies, but I said, why not 6 degrees? See, Michael Jordan, with all his championships, still went back and got a degree. That shows how important a college degree is. He wasn't the only one. Emmitt Smith, all-time leading rusher in NFL, after he won Super Bowls, he went to school. Shaq got his baccalaureate, got his master's, got his doctoral degree. So many people. In fact, Steph Curry just got his bachelor's degree this past May. Showed how important that was. I ended up at Illinois State University. And that connection was because I went to school in Eureka, Illinois. My host father was a professor at Illinois State. So I visited the campus many times, and I liked what I saw, and I got a scholarship, tuition waiver, to go there. I got a bachelor's degree in economics, political science, and history. After that, I went to Tufts University in Boston to study to be a diplomat. I got my master's and PhD from Tufts. And then I went to Northwestern to get my MBA in finance and marketing. And I had always thought about studying law. If I had gone to college in my native country, my first degree would have been law. So even though I then had 4 degrees, it was still nagging me that there was something missing. So I decided to go to law school. And then I got my law degree from University of Akron, Ohio. And then a little over, I think about 15 years ago, I decided I wanted to study energy law, specialize in that. And I studied online remote environment that has become so popular now. I did it with University of Dundee in Scotland. I had to go there for 3 weeks for induction, and after that, I did everything else, including my exams, remotely. And so that's how I ended up with those 6 degrees. Call it my 6 trophies, just like Michael Jordan.
Okay. And are you utilizing your 6 trophies at the moment?
Oh yes, all the skills that I utilize. I was trained as a diplomat, my first master's and PhD in diplomacy. You have to use diplomacy every day, every opportunity that you get. I have a degree in finance. I use it in my job environment, and the fact that I've spent so much time in education shows how much I value education, and so I am able to talk about it as frequently as possible to underscore the importance of education.
Did you have any professors on the way that really like motivated you to keep getting those 6 degrees? Because I mean, a lot of students, they might find trouble and they might not know how to go through with getting those higher educational degrees. What motivated you to keep going that wasn't just inside yourself?
Well, the 6 trophies, as I said, I really wanted to get, but seriously, I believe strongly that education opens doors. Every degree I got opened more doors for me. And that was my motivation. And yes, I had great professors. I had Dr. Nassar at Illinois State, Dr. Hib Roberts, and Dr. George Cunningham, who history professor. And then I worked for a couple of great professors. I was a teaching assistant and a research assistant, and they kept pushing me because they saw what I wanted to do. At Tufts, I had great professors. The chair of my committee, Professor West, and at Northwestern also. Everywhere that I went to school, there was someone who had great influence on me, and I kept going. But the key thing is for you to set a goal and keep working towards that. Because if you don't have the goal and you are not motivated, you wouldn't be moving forward. But if the goal is there, that pushes you to get closer to it. For example, when I was writing my dissertation, I did a cover page for my dissertation and stuck it on my fridge. I saw it every day, and I had to do something to make sure that I was working towards that.
So, do you have any other new goals after you achieved your or obtained your 6 trophies, as you call them?
Well, I toyed with the idea of maybe studying divinity, theology, and everything, and I got a little bit lazy and I wasn't able to do that. But for a while, I was a student at the University of London, external degree program to do a baccalaureate in divinity, and I had to abandon it because I thought I was really tired. But learning doesn't stop.
Right.
You shouldn't. It's not always the degree. For me, I needed structure, and the degree provided the structure. But outside of the formal structure, there are so many opportunities to learn, and that's what shouldn't stop. Today, every day, tons of information, knowledge comes out, and you have to be able to keep up. So you have to keep working hard to make sure that you know something new
Right.
every day.
Right, because knowledge is power, like that
Yes.
term, right? Correct.
Yes.
At the start, you said that you wanted to be successful, correct? Would you consider yourself successful now?
Well, I would like to think so because education has opened doors for me, and I enjoy what I do. And for me, I equate that with the success that I was seeking when I was growing up.
Right.
Yes.
So it sounds like you've been like everywhere around the world, especially with all these universities that you attended. So how'd you find yourself in Elgin?
Elgin, as I said, I first came to this country, to Illinois, and I had to go back to Ghana. And then when I came to college, I was back in Illinois. and I went to Massachusetts for graduate school. And I came back to Illinois to work and go to Northwestern. And so Illinois has been my state for a while. I met my wife here in Illinois. She was originally also from Ghana. We met here in Illinois, and we traveled to Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Texas, and because we had relatives here, we wanted to come back to Illinois.
Illinois, okay.
So prior to this position, I was president of a college in Houston for 6.5 years. The school is now called Lone Star College North Harris. The goal was to come back to Illinois, so I kept looking for positions in the Chicagoland area. And Elgin advertised for a new president back in October 2006. And I applied, and I was offered a job just before Christmas 2006. And I started here February 12, 2007. And I've enjoyed every bit of it.
I know I asked you this earlier before we started recording, but what does a president of a college do?
Well, as I responded earlier, there isn't a typical day. This is my first time doing this podcast. And so a week ago, I couldn't have added it to my day. My job entails working with people within the college and the community to help improve the lives of individuals that come to the college and the community. And so on different days, I do different things. There are days that I may not even be on campus. I do things in the community. There are days that I travel to Springfield to do things. For example, this Friday, I'm going to leave here around 5:30 to be in Springfield to make sure that I'll be at a 9:30 meeting. And there are some days that are lighter, and there will be an event in the Job Lounge, and I go to it like any regular participant, like this afternoon. And then there are some days, especially before the pandemic, that I will go to soccer games, basketball, volley, anything. And so there isn't a typical day for president. Mine is to keep working with people so that we can meet and exceed the needs and expectations of students who come here so that they can achieve their dreams.
So you say you don't really have a typical day, but like what is really your job here like for students? Like not maybe every day, but like what is the overall theme for you?
Well, and that's what I was explaining, that basically I work with people. I coordinate the work of so many people to help you achieve your dreams at the college. And so if the faculty member needs something that will enable them to do it, I work with the appropriate deans, if it's through registration or financial aid. So my job is basically working with people who are on the front line in different places to make sure that we meet the needs of students at this college.
You said you involved yourself in the community. How do you involve yourselves with other colleges?
Well, there is, first of all, the President's Council. All the presidents of community colleges belong to that. And this year, I'm honored to be the chair of the President's Council. So I'm really involved with presidents this year. Before that, I was. Last year, I was the vice chair. The year before, I was the secretary, treasurer, and I've been a member for nearly 17 years now. There are many events at other colleges that I get invited to that I attend. Some even before I go into my role as the chair of the President's Council. And sometimes I keep an eye on what is happening out there at the colleges. A lot of good things happen there. I learn from what they are doing, and then I bring some of the ideas here to the college to improve it.
What like recent events have happened? Have there been anything that might be interesting to students to hear?
Well, there's one going on as we speak, Native American Heritage Month. There are so many activities. There are so many cultural things that happen in the institution. There are learning opportunities. Not everything takes a semester. Sometimes an hour. There's a great speaker and so forth. That is so important. But I'm looking forward to one great thing. Commencement is around the corner. I love commencement. It's so huge for me because it shows the hard work of students, and I always celebrate that. And so before the holidays, hey, I'll have my fix with the commencement ceremony before I start thinking about shopping for Christmas.
So, how far have your skills adapted throughout the years, especially being the president of Elgin Community College and with all events happening around campus? I see you speak at most of them. So, how would you say your talking skills have improved?
Well, I would like to think it keeps improving. First of all, I'm an attorney, and as an attorney, you have to have some good communication skills. But you can improve upon any skill if you keep practicing, if you keep doing it. And I've been doing it for so many years. And so hopefully I'm improving on what I say and talk to people about.
Right. So, would you say like you started off a little bit shy at first, and then as you got more talkative throughout the years, you've just become more confident?
Yes, definitely. I had a great speech teacher in high school who said, look, one, never say, I'm nervous, because it makes you nervous.
Right.
Two, the people there are there to listen to you. You must have something to say, and so you shouldn't feel or say you are nervous. But yes, when you are younger, you feel that way, and you have more and more opportunities to speak to different groups. You get better at it, and you continue with it. Yes.
So we're going to switch gears here. Coming up next year is the 75th year anniversary of Elgin Community College. So what does Elgin Community College have planned?
We have so many things. Look, it's exciting. It's going to be sweet. So many activities. It's not every day that you get to be 75. Okay, we are among one of the oldest community colleges in the state. There are a few that are over 100 at the moment, but 75 is wonderful. We have talent show. We are having the whole college. People audition in a certain way to present their talents. Hey, the professors not do more than teaching. They have talents. They will show their skills.
Okay.
We'll have plays here. We'll have some musical programs. We'll have a wonderful, wonderful commencement ceremony. Hey, what will the year be without commencement? May 2024 is going to be great. And of course, December 2024. We'll have a gala, fundraising gala. But there will be activities that will involve students, that will include students, employees, and the community. It's not only an ECC celebration, it's the whole community. Why? We are very true to our name, community. This college is supported by District 509, and we want to involve every single person in District 509 in this celebration. And it's also to thank the community for the support all over the ECS. 75 years, it's going to be sweet.
So moving on, what does the future of ECC look like?
It looks bright. It looks very bright. Well, let me start this way. There is an organization called Aspen Institute. And Aspen Institute recognizes outstanding community colleges. Former President Obama called it the Oscars for community colleges. They start by naming every other year the top 150. And then they will ask you, at that time, they don't get any information from you. They do their own research and then name the top 150 out of the 1,047 colleges. And then they will ask you to provide them with additional information. If they like the information, if they think you are up to a certain level, they will then invite you to participate in an interview to get more information. And after that, they will reduce it to the top 25. And then after that, they will reduce it to top 10. And then the number one college. Well, for 2023, we were named among the top 25 community colleges in the country. 1,047 were among the 25. We are not resting there. They've started the next round of competition for 2025. And last month, we were named among the top 150 again. That means we are now eligible to participate in it and work towards being a top 25, hopefully a top 10, and hopefully number one. So the future is bright at ECC because we are doing some things that are being recognized by internationally recognized organizations such as Aspen, and also achieving the dream. The future is also bright because we are responding to the needs of this community. One of the programs that is in great demand, even before it starts, is respiratory care therapy. Okay? As a result of the COVID pandemic, there will be the need for people trained with respiratory care for many years to come. The hospitals have asked us, and we are responding to it. The future is bright because we are also responding to the needs of the manufacturing segment in our community. The board has approved, and we are moving forward. Very soon, we are going to construct a 150,000 square foot building to house all of our technical programs. That is huge. You know Building A. Building A is 125,000, and that is 3-story. We are going to construct 150,000 square foot building, 2-story. So it's going to be a huge one. And I hope you've seen where it's supposed to be at the corner of Spartan and McLean. That's the future home of that. The future is bright because we will keep working hard to meet and exceed the expectations of students. We want more students to realize their dreams at ECC. That's the commitment of the Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, administrators of this institution. So yes, the future is very bright because we'll keep doing that every single day.
If you don't mind, I want to talk about that building and what inspired you. That's an amazing feat of a project, and I'm excited to see it. I think a lot of ECC students are very excited to see this. What was the breaking point, or whatever you want to call it, that was just like, all right, we got to build this building. We got to move forward with this, because I think it's a great idea.
Yes, I agree with you. The current place where we do welding, HVAC, and all the career programs is 60,000 square feet. For several semesters, we had people on waiting lists, and there's great demand for all these programs. And if we want to be responsive to our community, we have to train the people that will be working in these industries. So the Board of Trustees invited the legislators from District 509 individually to come to campus and see how crowded our current facility has been. We were getting gifts from industry that we couldn't put in rooms because we didn't have the space. So you have that as one reason. The second reason is that with COVID, we saw all the supply chain interruptions because some manufacturers had moved abroad. They are coming back. And so given this and the fact that we are to respond to the needs of industries and the jobs that will be growing well into the future, it was important that we upgrade the facilities and expand. And with master planning, it was concluded that it has to be that big, 150,000 square foot, so that it can address the needs of today and well into the future. You talk about AI, you talk about mechatronics, talk about robotics, and everything that comes along. We have one professor who teaches welding called David Reich, Professor Reich. He says everything that we do, everything that we see has some welding parts. My glasses, there's welding. Your glasses, there's welding. This computer, the chair we sit on, welders are needed. We don't have enough spaces for them. HVAC, for 6 months we need heating. For 6 months we need cooling. We will never be able to get away from that. There's a need for people in those fields. Sadly, many of those who are in those fields now are at older ages. If we don't respond to that, there wouldn't be enough people in these fields. And companies will move from Illinois to other states where they've trained people. And so Elgin Community College is responding vigorously to the needs of this community. That is why we are going to have the state-of-the-art manufacturing technology center.
So would that also explain the tuition increase in the year of 2025?
No, it doesn't explain it directly. However, the board had frozen the tuition for 6 straight years. There aren't many colleges out there that had frozen their tuition for a couple of years, let alone 6. After a while, with inflation and everything, you need to adjust that. Now, I've been here nearly 17 years. My first 4 years, the board froze tuition, and now we've had another 6 years. So in my 17 years, 10 years, the tuition had been frozen. So the board has done a very, very good job, but there are additional costs that come up. That's why we need to do that. Indirectly, though, yes, we have to adjust to be able to bring on new programs. And so, yes to your question. But I just wanted to emphasize that this board has been able to freeze the tuition for an extended period of time. Yes.
So where does the ECC get most of its funding from?
Local taxes. We get well over 50%, about 57% from local taxes. And then tuition is just a shade below 30%. And we get around 15, 16%, depending upon the grants we get from the state. When the Community College Act of the 60s was passed, the deal was the state was going to provide a third, local taxes a third, and then tuition a third. But the state has not been able to keep up and give us the third. It's been more local taxes. But the college has done a great job of keeping the students' tuition lower than the third that was envisaged at that time.
Has there been some difficulties on the state side with funding? Because you said you mentioned there's 33%, 33%, 33%. Now, obviously, there will be percentages that changes, but can you speak to maybe some of the troubles Illinois has had with funding?
Well, yes. Historically, the state has not put as much money, had not put as much money in education, higher ed, as compared to some other states. In fact, until a few years ago, the monies that were in higher ed budget was lower than 2001. And all these time, there's been growth in student population and so forth. And then about 8 years ago, the state had serious budget crisis where 2 years there was no budget, and that impacted what we did. And so as the state's obligations to many segments of the community grows, they cut back on things that they believe they can cut back. However, I say that spending $1 on a community college is not really an expense, it's an investment. Investment in the training and education of citizens so that they will be able to participate in the local economy and improve the quality of life in their community.
What has ECC have any ability to fill in the blanks with that? Like, what can ECC do to kind of help alleviate that kind of situation?
Well, very prudent financial management. That's what we've done. We've been able to work hard and keep tuition low and then keep expenditures low to be able to respond to the need. We are AAA rated. There are only 4 community colleges in the state, AAA rated. We've had balanced budget every year, clean audits every year. And so it's prudent financial management. We have a wonderful board that provides the general leadership. And we are people who are conscious of the need to be very prudent with finances. And that has been the reason we've been able to freeze tuition at certain times. And the last 3 years also, the board was able to freeze the tax rate, did not increase the tax rate. And so these are 2 big things not many colleges have been able to do, but our board has been able to do that.
Very impressive.
That is very impressive. Emphasize on very. How does a board freeze a tax rate like that?
Well, it's a deliberate decision to forego the rate. As I said earlier, the original deal was to be 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Over the years, because the state was not holding up its portion, local taxes climbed into the 50s. So the board is very conscious that, hey, if we don't take care, it will keep growing. So whenever we are able to save a little bit of money, the board decides that, well, we saved a little bit of money this time. Can we improve upon that next time by not increasing the tax rate or tuition? So it is deliberate, intentional steps being taken to make sure that we do not have to increase every time.
Okay.
That's very, very smart on your guys' end to kind of maintain that level of awareness of local taxpayers and also parents or of students or students who might be financially paying for education here at Elgin Community College.
Yes, the board is very, very conscious about that. And see, our mission is to improve people's lives through learning. And the board wants people coming here to find it as affordable. And so they try every ways to make sure that the education remains affordable to students. And then also that it's affordable, the rate that we charge homeowners is also reasonable. So it's a lot of people working together, making sure that things happen that way.
Okay. Well, as we wrap up today's episode, is there anything you'd like to say to the student body?
Yes, a couple of things. First, the students are here, and so some of them may not know, but we have a wonderful program called Accelerate College. If you are in a high school, you can take classes here. There's dual credit and Accelerate College. There are students who are still juniors in high school that spend their junior and senior years here at the college. Oh, I'm talking to one of them. That is great. You can call it win, 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 win on every level. Win for the college, win for the school district, win for parents, win for students. This past May, 85 students picked up their college diplomas before they finished high school. So if you have a sibling, a friend in high school, Make sure that they know about it. And I'm glad that you are one of those students. It opens doors. Secondly, wherever you want to go, we can help you get there. We have articulation agreements with many universities. In fact, the College of Engineering at University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, if you're trying to get there as a high school graduate getting in, it is tougher to get in than getting into Fort Knox. But you can come to ECC 2 years and follow the pathway and then walk literally to the College of Engineering at Urbana-Champaign, U of I, Chicago, NIU. Third, there are so many funding opportunities at ECC. You can go to ECC without picking up a student loan. There are grants, there are scholarships that are available to you. Over the last decade, we've been able to support and encourage students to take lesser and lesser student loans. At its height, 1,870 students were taking loans. They were borrowing $6.6 million a year to pay for their education. Today, it's down to about 340 students borrowing about 1.6 million. That's a reduction of 81% in both cases. And so we improve your life through learning without taking a student loan on you. That's very important. So when you come here and you need money, talk to financial aid office, talk to the foundation. And the last thing I want to mention, we want people to live here financially empowered, financially literate, so that their credit score will be good, they can buy a car, they can buy a home. That's why we partnered with KCT Credit Union right here on campus in the library. So I want the students that, hey, if you are experiencing any financial stress, talk to them. They can help you get on the right track financially. We will do our part in making sure that you get your diploma. But there's a big world out there that a good financial empowerment, a good financial FICO score is going to help you a lot. So anyone who wants to join the credit union, you don't have to go far. It's right here on ECC campus. You go to the Renner Library, and they will be able to help you. And last but not least, we are committed to your success. That's why we are here. We want to do any and everything to help you achieve your dreams. If you have any issues, if you have any challenges, let us know. We'll work with you to achieve your dream. That's what ECC is about. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. I hope you invite me back one day to talk about other things related to ECC. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sam,
Thank you,
for
Sam.
Thank you.
coming onto the podcast. We appreciate your time and the efforts to come here, even though with the cold. But we appreciate you coming onto today's episode. Big shout out to the editors who are editing this podcast for today. Like always, I'm Vansh,
I'm Eric.
I'm James.
and we'll see you next time.